All right, so we're going to finish off this braiding today with these hair extensions. So this right here was one that was done earlier. I forgot to take this out. This is braiding hair. As you can see, this hair is very synthetic. It's very long. It comes in a pack that you can buy, and you can buy different lengths. You know, you can buy like 20 inches, you can buy like 25 inches, just whatever the length is that you feel that you need to braid the hair. With this being braiding hair, it's a fairly inexpensive type of hair to buy. It is synthetic. It's also the type of hair that's used for to like make a filler out of. If you wanted to make a filler for some of the hair designs, this is the type of hair that you could use, would be this braiding hair. This right here that I'm taking out was known as like a single or a box braid. That's what some people call these. By just adding some hair into it. Now, I didn't take, or Miss Michelle actually didn't take a very big section. She did this morning to show us, you know, how to put them in. And we do have, the video should be up later with her doing it earlier today. But I'm just going to show you, try to take this out very carefully so that I can show you how to actually start the hair. The thing about braiding hair, since it is synthetic, sometimes you might want to stretch it, which really you just grab the hair and just stretch it out so that it doesn't have any play left in it. You can buy hair that is pre-stretched. That's something that you might want to look for, is if you need to stretch the hair or not. It's not hard to stretch it, but you can buy pre-stretched hair. Has anyone ever done this before? I can't see you, so go ahead and unmute yourself and let me know if you've ever done this before.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so there are different ways to actually put this hair in. This is just the loop around the base. What she actually did this morning was put a ponytail in here and used the hair to cover the ponytail instead of just using the actual piece of hair itself. So this is the length of it. Yeah, they can. I'm getting there. This is the length of it, right? And if we wanted to stretch it, we could just pull it out like this, but that's not exactly what I wanted to pull out. Here's the ponytail. There's a rubber band in it. So what we want to do is when we come in here, we want to make sure that we place this around the ponytail and just sort of back loop it around to where it covers that ponytail. And I end up with 3 strands of hair, right? So as I'm braiding this on, it stays kind of looped at the top with my hair being added on here. Now what happens when I get down to the end of this is it's sort of picked red so you can see it. Can you see it good or no? Should I put it up in the stand, or are you guys okay with what you can see here? Somebody speak up.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to like put something up here to make it a little bit easier there for you to possibly see. What did I do there? I don't know. Okay, so I'm just braiding this. You can braid it on an over braid or you can braid it on an under braid. It doesn't really matter too much. But when you get down here, after you get it started, one of the things that you want to do is just start incorporating the braid hair with your other hair, with the natural hair. So I'm just going to kind of divide that in half and bring it over and start incorporating this into this hair so that I will end up with a larger strand. So I don't end up with like no hair when I get down to the bottom. So this gets tangled really easily too. So you've got to kind of make sure that it's nice and smooth before you start. So I've kind of separated the natural hair also so that I'm going to end up with 3 strands when I run out of my natural hair. See, now that I've separated that as I'm getting down here, you can kind of see how it's all going to go together. Now, if I wanted to make it thicker, I could also take a whole nother piece of hair and just add it in with this as I'm braiding it, and it would just make it thick and a lot of hair when you got done. Now, I'm not a braider. If you've ever seen people that are braiders, their hands are just moving like 1,000 miles an hour as they're doing this. That looks really great, and they get done fast. You know, and you know, they're probably making a couple $100 doing a whole head of this, if not more, and it just looks great. I would be here for 10 hours trying to get this done, if not more, just adding all of this in. Yeah, what I do, lost my braid there. Okay, lost my. So just finish braiding this section, and then when you get it in there tight enough, it pretty much stays. Now with this being synthetic hair, it's not really going anywhere. You don't need to really add a rubber band or anything to the end of it unless you wanted to. Some people do, they like to decorate, you know, the bottom with a rubber band or some kind of fancy looking thing. But with this being synthetic hair, I could take this braid, get some boiling water, and just dip these in there, wait a few seconds, because the hot water is going to kind of fuse that together and melt it so that it will not come undone. And that is an easy way to add the hair extensions. The rubber band's covered at the top by the way that the hair is wrapped around. Now, you don't have to use a rubber band when you get really good at it. There's no rubber band. You just grab the piece of hair and start working with it. But I do like to have, you know, the rubber bands put in because I'm not that great at it, and it's easier for me to do it that way. So, and when you're learning, that's probably the easiest way to make sure that you have all of your sections basically the same way. Another way that we can do it is on the scalp braiding, which would be like the cornrows with the hair added in. So does anyone know how to cornrow?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, so what this is really is just a 3-strand on the scalp under braid with the hair added into it. So with this one, yeah, don't judge my braiding either, because like I said, I'm not a braider. I guess if I practiced it more, I could become really good at it. But trying to get this open here to show you how to add the hair into this one too. Okay, so again, I want to start with my 3 strands on a braid, right? So as I pick up the middle here to be my 3rd strand, this is an under braid. So I want to make sure that I wrap the hair around here underneath. See if I can do this without making it slide, because it always ends up sliding for me. That's my problem on here. Okay. So now as I get ready to use my braid, let's see. that's already looking, so let me try this again. Go around the top so that it's wrapped at the scalp. So it'll stay here with my 3 strands. And then as I pick up the hair, now I can go underneath here. Oh, no, that's not gonna work. Come this way with it. And I can just pick up my hair from my under braid. The heck did I just do? See, like I said, went the wrong way on the crossover to where when I went to go braid with it, I just undid what I had picked up. All right, so under braid. It slides for me all the time. Yeah. So if I'm doing my under braid, this is how I had to do it before because it always slid off for me. And then I would add my hair in after I got my braids started. So as I got ready to cross over, just ready to move forward this way. So watch the video on YouTube. I'm giving up on this one because like I said, I am not a braider. So go ahead and watch the video on YouTube, but this is what you get at the end about adding the hair into it with the braid going because it keeps sliding right out. That's on the scalp braid. And that's just kind of like how those work. Okay, you could do a track and sew method. So what this is with your track and sew, you do a braid, right? So we're gonna take the braids, usually they kind of go like around the head, however you wanna put your weft in. So you'll do a braid. Let's say we're going to do a big one back here. And it is 3 strand on the scalp under braid. Where I'm just going to take big pieces of hair so that you can see what we're doing. It's the little pieces that get me all confused. And what you want to do when you braid the hair is you want to make sure that you're braiding it like in the direction that a client would want to wear it, okay? So we'll just pretend we're getting the braid in here. So I mean, if I was gonna go across the back of the head and I wanted to make her hair nice and big and thick, I would probably more than likely make several rows of smaller braids. And then this is known as a weft of hair, big weft of hair. See how they're just all kind of, what's the word, like bound at the top together. I would make these fit her hair, come across like this on the back of her head with the braid, place a needle through here. So we do have certain types of needles that are used to sew these into the hair. So here's like a smaller portion, and I could just sew that right onto that braid. So with the needles that are being used, there are this type right here that are curved, and they're kind of really pointy on the ends. There's also these that aren't curved, but they're a little bit blunter on the ends. Depending on the type of thread that you want to use, usually you want to use more of a nylon thread, which is more like this type that's on here, other than like a polyester or a quilting thread. This is more like cotton thread. It still is pretty thick, and you would want to double it up to where when you pulled it through the hair, you could actually sew with it. And there's different types of stitches that they use to sew in wefts or to sew on tracks, whichever way you want to call it. And so here we go. We have a lock stitch, an overcast stitch, a lock stitch throughout, and then a double lock stitch. And basically all that's happening on there is you're just sewing it to the braid, not to the scalp. Has anyone ever had extensions? Go ahead and chime in.
I've always wanted to, but like I've never done it because they say it takes time. I don't know if like also, you know, I don't remember like what year it was, but like they started using like feathers on their hair. Those are considered extensions too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the feathers. That was a big thing. Yeah, feathers were a big thing to go in the hair. Who was it? That Steven Tyler, I think, was on like American Idol or something. He's the one that kind of started wearing feathers.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so with the extensions, you have to remember, and I've heard this a lot, that people say, oh, when I took my extensions out, I lost all my hair. All my hair fell out. But that's not true. Okay, you have extensions in your hair. You have these wefts sewn in your nape area. You know, you have a lot of hair sewn in there. And what's happening is it's feeling very thick, you know, because you have this extra hair. Well, every day you're still losing your natural hair loss. But if it's sewn in like that, where's it going to go? How's it going to fall out if it's sewn in and braided in? So when you take out the braid and you take out, you know, the weft, all of that natural hair that you may have been wearing for what, 2 months or something, your natural hair loss is just kind of trapped in there. It's sewn in there, or it's trapped in the braid itself. So when you go to take them out, yeah, you are going to lose hair. And then people say, oh, they made my hair so thin. Well, did it make your hair any thinner than your hair normally was as far as hair thickness goes? And you just lost like your daily amount of hair loss? Or was there more that came out? You know, and most of the time it's just the normal hair loss, you know, unless the extensions were put in really bad. So those are some things to take into consideration if you plan on going into this venture, you know, letting your clients know that, hey, you're still going to lose your 100 or so hairs a day, but are they going to come out like they do now, or are they going to be trapped in the braid or trapped in what's sewn in your hair? Because it will seem like a lot of hair, but that's 2 months worth of hair. That's, you know, thousands of hair strands that are coming out. You can also use glue. There's a special kind of hair glue that you can put on the back of these wefts like this. And then you can just pick your parting on the person's hair. You can just come out and take your parting like this and just glue this right onto it and hide it in there. Remember though, the areas that you glue them in, guess what? They're areas. Now it's going to be stuck with this bonded glue here. And there's several different types of glue to use on the hair. Okay, they also have like these double-sided tapes that are made for the hair that you just place on here. You place it on here, you just smash it in there, and it's right on there. They have the little individual strands that have some of it calls it an eye, but it's like pointed on the end, and it's like a tip right here with glue. And you have it looks like a hot glue gun type of a thing, and it's like a flat iron / hot glue gun look. But it has the glue on here. You place it on the hair. You take the little flat iron thing and you just hold it on there, and you fuse that glue right onto this. It's called like a bonding. And bonding is what they mean by when they're gluing it. But it is a special glue or a special adhesive for the hair. Now we want to make sure that the client doesn't have an allergic reaction to the glue. So we need to do a patch test, a PD test, or a predisposition test that just checks for allergies. That you'll learn about that when we get into the hair coloring portion of it. Okay, so there's some pictures on what they put in. Bonding works really good because a lot of people will maybe just want to wear, an extra color in their bang, or just, a little tiny piece. How would it look if I just put this like right here in my hair and just kind of wore it in here for like a few days, because that's what the glue will do. Some glue will come out of the hair really, really easily, and some glue will not. So again, there's many different types of glue. So just, product knowledge, that's what it comes down to. And then you can make someone look like they have lots of hair by bonding. Oh, that's it. Wow. Okay, let's see what we know. Okay, loose hair fiber intended for attachment to the base of the client's own hair. What's it called? Hair fiber? Hair additions? Hair something. A technique that uses a 3-strand braiding technique is called what? Okay. A cotton polyester blend thread is used to sew the wefts to the braid. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this stuff, right? So called bonding. That's bonding. Okay, hair additions, interlocking. Oh. Track, double lock stitch, bonding. Wow, there's not much to that one, is there? Okay. So there's also like the little beads, like she was talking about with the feathers that you can put in your hair. I'm going to grab that when we get on break and show you how to add those in. But really sewing, gluing, and braiding, and then adding the beads, bead lock, it's called. Oh, sorry, but really that's it. When I first learned to do hair extensions, we were was gluing, and it was messy and it wasn't fun. But then we started taking these in like 3-inch strips. In those days, the wefts were made a little bit different than they are now. About right here on most wefts, there was like a piece of lace. So what we would do is put a bead on the end of the hook. We would open this hook up, push it through the lace, come in and grab the hair. So it would come in, we just grab the hair and pull it back through with this. So it would come back through the bead, so it'd go through the lace, hook was open, we'd hook some hair, and we'd pull it back through that lace. We'd have this hair, we'd slide the bead onto it, push it up to the scalp, get a piece of pliers and like crimp it on there, and it would hold it. And then, you know, you could wear this till it started to grow out, because it was a alternative to glue that would last a couple months, you know, until they got loose and came out. But one thing about the hair, right? You have to get the quality of hair for you. So, I mean, have you ever looked at wefts or pieces of hair? Like sometimes they can be really expensive, like a couple $100. So this is why knowing your products again, and what kind of hair you want makes a difference. One time I went to a hair show when hair extensions first started becoming, you know, a big thing. And they had hair like this, folded up with wefts, all different sizes, lengths, and colors, on like those hangers that you hang up pants with. And they had them hooked up like this, and they had them just all hanging on like a garment rack. It was the strangest looking thing to me to walk in there and be like, whoever in all of my years of doing hair did I think that they were going to start selling hair like you would buy a shirt off a rack? You know, never thought I would see that. It was strange. It was just strange to me during that time. So I'll get those little hook things. It's like the feathers. We actually have feathers at the front desk. So when we actually get to come back, you guys can see those, and you know, we can all have feathers in our hair. I kind of like the green ones. They're kind of cool. You know, it's just a feather though. You can put them anywhere you want. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't stop yawning today. Okay, so, oh, this opens from both sides. I put it in here and it was open on the other side because it snapped on both ends. And I put the hair back in here and it fell out the other side on the floor. And then I was like, what's wrong with the hair? Where'd it go? And it's on the floor. All right. You all aren't very talkative today, are you? So who wants to do hair extensions? Nobody? Oh.
I do.
Okay.
I do too.
So, you know, you can buy this braiding hair. It's really fairly inexpensive, really. I mean, it's only maybe like not even $6 a pack. But what you need to do is find the length. And of course, the longer the lengths, you know, the more the hair is going to cost, because it's the length of the hair, right? So the longer the hair, the more cost. But this morning, we have the video from this morning. If you want to watch it later, Miss Michelle's demonstrating this along with how to make a wig. She talks about how to make a wig and all of the other things that go along with extensions and wig making and gluing and all that stuff. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on this? No? Okay, so yesterday, because we're kind of done with this chapter, remember when we come back, you guys are going to have like a little quiz to see what you remembered. So, you know, pay attention. Pay attention on that. So, anyone take art or has taken art? Those
I took it in high school.
I'm taking it right now.
Okay. So are you learning about the color wheel at all? No? Yeah? No?
Every time I'm
I
on
learned
Bumble
it-
and I see a guy named Cole. Oh,
I didn't catch that.
Sorry, I learned about it in floral freshman year, but I can't really remember that well.
That was a long time ago for you, huh? Yeah, that was 4 years ago. Well, it's harder to remember that stuff. Sometimes I can't remember last week, so okay, I get you. So, okay, so I was asked about that. So in order to start learning how to do color, we have to be able to analyze our clients. And before we do anything, right, we have to be able to analyze the client's hair and what their needs are. And I know we talked about this before, but it's really important that we understand what a client, is saying. So let's say, I'm your client, right? And I walk in and I'm just sitting there waiting for you. Just doing this kind of thing. Oh no, I'll have my phone. Pretend this is my phone because I'm using my phone for like a stand for the computer. So I'm sitting there just doing this stuff, right? Not paying attention to what's going on around me and not looking around because this happens all the time. I just walk in and I'm just waiting. Okay, what would you do to come up to me? Okay, you can chime in or you can chat in or whatever you want to do. I'll put the chat up. Okay, so what would you do when I'm just sitting there?
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, right? Eye contact and a smile, right? That's gonna go the longest. It's gonna go the farthest. Call the person by their name. Okay, now some names are really hard to try to figure out what they're saying or what their name is, not what they're saying, but what their name is. Like some names are really hard to try to, to figure out what they're saying or what their name is, not saying. Why do I keep saying that? So, at least try, smile, make eye contact, and then let them introduce yourself, right? Introduce yourself and say, hi, my name is, and I'm going to be, doing your hair today. Why don't you come with me? So now we're walking back to our station. We're going to sit down and, a lot of times if someone has like a phone, a jacket, a purse, I don't know, whatever they're carrying, personal items, right? Where are we going to put these things? What are we going to do with them? If you're getting ready to do a service on someone, it's kind of awkward when they've, got all their stuff and like, what are they going to do? Throw it down on the floor? Like, no, we don't want them to put it on the floor, right? We want them to put it where? Like in a cupboard, somewhere. So just let them know that they can put their personal items somewhere else. It just makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. Like open up a cupboard and say like, oh, here, you can put your personal items in my station, or, you can put your phone up here or wherever it is that they're gonna be, because we don't want them on their phone while they're getting their hair done. I think it's rude for someone to be on the phone while I'm trying to do their hair, and I'm not gonna be on the phone while I'm trying to do someone else's hair. So I don't think we want them on the phone. So we set them in our chair. Okay, what should we be analyzing on their hair? Right, we're talking to them. We're saying, okay, so what type of service would you like to have done today? Or what can I do for you today? Or what are you here for today? Or whatever the wording is that you're going to be using for that. But what are you looking at now that they've said that? What are some of the things that you're looking at?
Like their scalp to see if it's healthy or not.
Yeah, that's a good one, right? We do want to look at that. We want to make sure that there's no cuts, abrasions, disorders, bugs, open sores, anything like that. Because in all my years, I've seen some things on people's heads, and a lot of times these people, they don't even know. I saw someone that had this huge gash in the back of their head, and it was gross. Like, how could you not know that you have that on your head? And he goes, well, I raised up and, hit my head on whatever he hit his head on when he raised up. And He goes, and it hurt, but I didn't think it was any big deal. But I promise you, if that big old cut was on his arm, he would have been like, oh, look at my arm, you know? So, yeah, sometimes people don't know. So we need to double check and just, you know, look around. So, yeah, we're looking at their scalp. What else are we looking at?
Their color of their hair.
Okay. What else? Color. Because if they're asking for a hair color, we need to know like what their hair color is. Yeah. But there's other things that we should be checking out too.
Breakage.
Okay, so the overall condition maybe? Like, is it long? Is it short? You know, does it have breakage? Does it have split ends? Does it need to be cut? You know, things like that we'll be looking at. How thick is their hair? How thin is their hair? How does it feel? You know, is it curly? Is it straight? You know, just texture is always one of them. Always, like no matter what you do, you always check out the client's texture. Density, no matter what you do, you always look at the density, like how thick is their hair or how thin is their hair. Those are a couple of things. And they always say texture, density, and porosity, because that's always going to make a difference too. But there's also, you know, all these other things that we have to check too. So we definitely want to make sure that we're looking at all that. We're feeling the hair. Like if we're looking through at the scalp and we're looking at to see if their scalp is healthy, you know, we're kind of running our fingers through the hair and we're feeling it. We're kind of going, okay, you know, just get an overall idea. And as we're doing this in our mind, we're going, okay, thin, fine, straight, you know, medium density, you know, this stuff is running through our mind. Boom, 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 boom. While we're doing this and looking at their scalp. Okay, that actually felt kind of good. So those are the things that, you know, we need to just remember for every single time, like every single person, that we always have to check that, always. So now we're getting ready to do the consultation. Right, so when we're getting ready to talk with the person, as we've already kind of checked them out, we don't want to say like, oh, you want a haircut? What kind of haircut you want? Same haircut I have now, just about like, just trim it. What's a trim? Okay, I've seen people say, oh yeah, just cut a little bit. To me, that was not a little bit, that's a lot of it. And then I've seen people go, oh yeah, oh, I want a lot cut, you know, take about that much off. That's a lot. Well, each person's half an inch. This is half an inch, this is half an inch, that's half an inch, you know, everybody's half an inch is different. So we want to make sure that we're really clear on what the person wants. And sometimes it's not that easy to decipher because someone will say, yeah, just follow the same haircut I had last time. Just give me a trim. Okay. How long has it been since you've had your last haircut? Maybe like last December. I'm like, okay, that's almost a year ago. You don't have a haircut for me to follow. Your hair's been so grown out for so long. There's nothing left for me to follow. So then I would have to start asking other questions, you know. And sometimes people like, they get kind of weird about that, you know, like you should just know, like they're all knowing, you know, you should just know what they're saying, that's what it should be. So, you know, we need to learn to ask the right types of questions. So, you know, ask questions that are open-ended. So what that means is we're going to ask questions that you just can't say yes or no to, that they actually have to give you an explanation. So instead of saying, oh, do you use a curling iron in the morning when you get ready for school or work? And they're like, yeah. Okay. So you might want to ask, okay, so what type of tool do you use in the morning to curl, you know, to do your hair before you go to work? And then they'll be like, oh, a curling iron. Okay, so what direction do your curls go? You know, how do you curl it? And then you find out a whole bunch of stuff that they tell you, like, well, I try to get my hair to go back, but it always falls forward, it never stays. Okay, if someone said that to me, like my hair always falls and it never always falls forward. I want it to go back, it always falls forward and it never stays. If somebody was to say that to me, that would make me think, okay, they're not using the right type of product, or are they even using any product in their hair to make it stay? So then that would be an opportunity to ask them like, oh, hey, you know, what type of styling products do you use? That might even be an opportunity for you to sell them a product or recommend a product for them to purchase and take home. So there's questions, you know, you really got to listen and kind of like read between the lines when the client is asking you something, or when you're asking them something, you know, and then repeat things back the way that you heard it. So if I said, I want my hair, let's see, I want my hair to be trimmed and blow dried, but I don't want any of that. I want it to stay. What could that mean? Like a million different things, right? So I would say, okay, so how much is a trim to you? And, you know, because if you say like, how much is a trim? You know, a trim, like maybe an inch. You know, to me, an inch is more than a trim. I mean, but everybody thinks differently. So that's why we've got to be clear on that. Okay, so then we say, okay, so you want your hair blow dried. How do you want your hair blow dried? Okay, forward, back, whatever. But I want any of that foofy stuff. Okay, well, what is the foofy stuff? You know, that stuff that makes my hair real hard and stiff and I can't ever comb through it when I'm done. Okay, so that's telling me maybe some hairspray, just not something that is a firm hold or a heavy hold hairspray. So, you know, you got to be real clear with clients and really listen, because I mean, I kind of think, I know that I made some mistakes before just by not thoroughly listening and following through with things, just thinking I know what they're talking about when I didn't. And so I think if I'm doing that, and I know I've done that in the past, that there's a lot of other people that have done the same thing. You know, they think they know or something like that without being 100% clear. So these are things that we really have to kind of work on to make sure that that doesn't happen, because you're going to have people say sometimes, I mean, if you don't do what they want, maybe they might be rude. Have that happen too, you know. So just if you've done your best and you've done the best that you possibly can, then you should feel proud no matter what people say to you. Remember one time when I was in beauty college, you know, it was the time when women were getting their hair shampooed and set on rollers once a week. So every week they'd come in and get their hair shampooed and put up on rollers. Okay, so I was an ROP student. It was the summer before my senior year. I actually was, you know, in ROP. So I got out on the floor and I was shampooing this woman's hair, and she just didn't like the way I was shampooing her hair. And I thought that I was really scrubbing her head good. I thought I was in there scrubbing it really, really good. And she was telling me like, do it harder, do it harder. I didn't know how hard I was supposed to go, right? Because I mean, I'm brand new. I don't know. I mean, I guess she wanted me to use my nails or something, but I felt like I was scrubbing it hard. And then when I got all done with her hair, dried it, combed it out and everything, and she was looking in the mirror and I said, you know, how does that look for you? And she said to me, I almost cried. She said to me, well, at least it's clean. I was like, I went through all of that and I did all that, you know. I felt terrible after she left. Like, oh my gosh, I tried so hard and I did all of this, and then all she can tell me is that her hair is clean. Like, I felt bad. And then, you know, my instructor at the time, she was really good. And she was just like, you know what, don't feel so bad. You know, you tried. Did you try your best? Yes. Okay. That's all we can ask for, you know, is that you tried. And, you know, you just can't please everybody. So she told me basically get over it. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, and then I felt real bad for the day, but I got over it. So, you know, just you may end up with somebody saying something to you that hurt your feelings a little bit, because that's just, you know, some of the way people are. Most people are great. You don't ever have any problems, whatever, but you know, once in a while you might get that one person. But just remember that, you know, you can't please everybody, and that's just the way it is out there. So yeah, but obviously she didn't deter me, because here I am almost like, I just gotta do the math on that, a long time, okay? Still working in the shop. I'm still, you know, I decided to come teaching about 15 years ago because I figured I had a little bit of experience I could share with people. So she didn't deter me at all. So yeah, we can do that. I loved coming here. It was like so much fun for me in those days. I mean, I still like coming here, but obviously I came back 3 times. I went to school here 3 different times, and then I come back here to work. So I came from Cosmo, I came for SD, and I came for Barbara work here. So actually I must like it here, right? So it's great. I love doing this business. It's fun. Where else can you go and play with hair, skin, and makeup all day long and get paid for it? And get to talk to people and have fun all day long and get paid for it. That is just the best thing ever. Okay, so it's 3 o'clock. I'm gonna go get those beads and show you how to do the bead lock things right now. We'll go ahead and take a break, and I will see you guys back here at 3:10. And we are back. So I ended up getting an extension case to show you. Which consists of this tool for clumping on the beads. There is a color swatch book for all of the different colors that are available for extensions, or from this particular company, that is. And let's see what else comes in here. You get some hair, a package of hair. You get package of purple hair, the tips. And there's a fusion. So these are these ends right here have the glue on them, and you just lay the hair in this little groove and clamp the little hot glue gun thing down, and it puts that right on for you. You get a the thing that makes this really cool is this brush. This is a hair extension brush. You can see the different types of bristles inside this brush, and what this is for is your scalp, basically scalp health. Because like I said earlier, you have all those little hairs that are going to fall out naturally, and it's going to be stuck in your scalp. So with this particular kind of brush, you kind of go and just brush your scalp. It releases all that hair and keeps it, it's still going to be kind of in the hair extension itself, but it's for your scalp health. So this is a really nice brush. Okay, so that was just like the hair extension kit that we have here at school that we offer for advanced classes. Well, when we can offer those classes anyways. So I also got, it was Brenda that was saying that she wanted a feather in her hair. So I got the feather kit. Um, this is the little pliers that they use for the extensions. These are the beads. I don't know if you can see those in there very well. Let me see if I can get one out. Now these beads come in different colors and they do come in different sizes, but they're just, you can't really see that, huh? They're just like these little beads. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna dump them out. Yeah, I am. They're just like these little beads. And what you do with them is you get the little bead holder. There's a lot of companies that make different ones. Sometimes people like these because I can put them on their wrist. But what you're supposed to do is take the beads and feed them on the end. So I can do this with nails. On the end of here. Come on, it's harder with nails, I'll tell you that. Okay. Make this a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm dropping them. I'll get a bigger one. The bigger one will fit on here better. Come on, there we go. So you feed it on here and it just kind of falls down like that. So what you do is you get the hair and you pull it through the loop. I'll grab this over here. So when you get the hair, we're going to pull it through the loop, and that's where your little latch comes in. Where's the little latch there? Oh, I can't find it, but you just grab the hair and you pull it through the loop like this, right? And then you take the bead off of here and you push it up on the hair itself, pull the end through, and now the bead's on the hair. So now you have the bead on the hair. Can you see? Or do I need to do it again? Okay, so now you can push it up here as high as you want, and then you take your feather, open one.
Hi, Miss Connie. I'm sorry. I just came back from lunch. I just want to let you know I'm lacking.
Okay. I find when you can see. How about orange? You think you can see an orange feather? Oh, this one's easier. See, this end's more bent the way it should be on this one. I didn't see that one in there. I should have grabbed that one. Probably see an orange feather pretty good, huh? Okay. I can get it out of here. Okay. Let's see, where's my bead? Okay. So I'm going to take the tip of this feather and place it, I gotta stand it kind of close to the scalp, not right on the scalp, kind of hold the hair down the way it's going to fall. Place this tip right underneath there to where I have the feather inside of there, to where the hair is going to lay, you know, kind of on the top of it. And with these pliers, see how they kind of have that little round thing in the center? That's where you want to put the bead. So you kind of want to grab it. Well, now I actually want to use the tip, the flat part, and you just crimp it down and smash it, and then the hair will lay down with the feather in it. And you can do this with the hair extensions also. You want to make sure you're not too close to the scalp, because you don't want it to like poof up like that. It's called a waterfall. We don't want it to waterfall. We want it to lay flat on the head as it lays down. Now to undo it, you just come in the opposite direction. These pliers in that round section and push it together so that it crimps and the bead comes right out. These beads are not supposed to be reused. Down in this portion of the pliers are scissors. So sometimes the beads do fall back over on themselves, unfortunately. And you can just come in and come down here at the end of that and just cut it. It'll cut it right off. So that way you gotta be a little bit careful because you can cut the hair too. But that's how these are. They're super simple. It's just time consuming, but once you get those put on, it's really easy. The purple ones in this bag here, they have the bead already on the tip. So all you gotta do with those is, oh, there's one that's just lying there. Here it is. This already has the bead like on the tip itself. So all you have to do is feed the hair through. Oh no, that one's been cut off. What the heck? What in the world? Oh, this has already been cut off. Okay. Well, let's see. So they have this little loop on the end of it. So you just pull the hair through the loop and then you can pull this end completely out. And then the hair will be through the center of these already. So these are really easy. They're individual. They're super simple. Just to pull the hair through. Let's see, these are all bound together. I would pull one out. But it's really easy just to pull the hair through here. And then as you get the feather, as you pull the hair through there, you're just gonna slide this end that has this part off of it and just pull it right through the hair. So these are already kind of pre-done for you. This is really easy to work with. And you can buy these in different colors like this. And these are all tangled up.
Those are really cool. Those look really cool. I like how easy they look too.
They are easy. They're really easy. And like I said, these right here have the glue on the tip. They're really tangly though. Oh my gosh. These have the glue on the tip right here. And see how they're kind of grooved down a little bit. So when you go to put these in the hair, all you do is take the hair and lay it right in that groove. And it kind of looks like this, but it's like it gets hot like a flat iron. And then you just squeeze that in there and hold it together so that it kind of fuses together in a bonding form. And that's how these work. So they're real easy to work with. We do have all these different feathers. And then the beads, they come in different colors. Like this is almost like black. And then there's like I don't know what this is, like red brown. And then there's like the light brown in here. And there's a dark brown, I guess that would be. But they do come in different sizes. And I think that this one, some of these beads are smaller than others. Yeah, this will fit on this one better. This is a smaller one. And you can just load this up with the beads on there, and you could put like 100 of them at a time on here if you wanted to, so you don't have to keep, and then a lot of people put them around their wrist, so when they get ready to use it, they just pull it off and pull the hair out and then put it back in. They do make this little thing, it almost looks like a vampire finger. It's a little pointy thing on the end, and you put it on your finger. You just fits the top of your finger like a thimble. And you can just pick up the hair with that and then slide it off. And it's supposed to make it a little bit easier. I don't have one of these here. I've seen people use them and people with, worth them. So that did make it a little bit easier for some of them. But I thought Donovan wanted me to put a feather in his hair. But we have these pink ones. And there's some black and white ones. Purple and black, I guess that is. uh, well, it's like a brown and black, I guess that would be. Brown and black, orange, green. Let's see, orange. Uh, some green ones. Oh, some green ones. What other color is this? Blue. Some blue ones. Yeah, there was a while, we had a whole bunch more, but of course, you know, that kind of fad kind of went out. But we used to have to do this all the time. There would be so many people coming in, getting their hair cut, and they were just like, we're so wild. One thing though, if you're gonna be putting stuff in the hair like this, make sure that whatever you're using is like, if they want to use a curling iron, because some of them you can use a curling iron, you can curl it, you can wash it just like regular hair, you know, so you want to make sure that whatever you're putting in their hair is going to have, going to be able to work for what they want, because you don't want these for, to melt or anything like that. These can be actually curled and fired, we've done those with them. So just double check on the product that you're using, make sure that it has the right, you know, stuff for the client. These pliers come in cool little bags, different types, just different manufacturers. They all do the same job. This one's made by what? Twisted Fringe. This one's made by Babe. So that one's made by Babe. This one's made by Babe. So they're just different hair extension brands that are out there. But a lot of people, oh, the zipper's broken. I mean, a lot of companies make these. So it's really easy to use. The trick to these is just making sure that when you put them on the head, that you're putting them in the right spot so that they're laying correctly. And then you've got to really look at the hair growth patterns and the hairline. Because I mean, how close to the hairline do you get? You don't put these right at the hairline because then they're going to see the beads, right? And what if somebody puts their hair up in a ponytail? Are the beads going to show, or do you have them down far enough to where those beads aren't showing? So that's the stuff you really got to analyze before you put these in. But they're not hard to put in. They just go clip, clip, and you know they're right on there. It's just time consuming. Oh my gosh, I cannot stop yawning today. Sorry. Is there any questions? No
Have
questions?
you done any of them to yourself?
Myself, no. I personally don't think that I would like the feeling when I go like this in my hair to feel stuff. I think it would bug me a lot. So I don't. I have worn a couple of those like hair pieces where you use your own hair in the front, and then I pulled all my hair back here into the hairpiece itself and let it fall along. And I have worn that. It was the only time I really had like hair down to my waist in my whole life. And that was fun. That was fun to wear that. It was like curly. It was like super, super blonde. And I wore it around for a while. And people were like, whoa, what happened to your hair? And I was like, yes, I'm in my hair, but whatever. It was really fun. It was fun to wear that. I did like that. But I could take that off when it started bugging me. I could just take it off. So with the hair extensions and stuff, I don't think I would like the way it feels. But a lot of people love it. You know, it's so popular out there. So, and there's money to be made in it. There's money in wigs and hair pieces and hair extensions. Chris Rock made a documentary called Good Hair. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but it's about relaxers and like hair, like where they get hair, how they get hair, what women actually pay for hair, you know, and it's older. I mean, I don't know, maybe 10 years old, maybe more, I don't even know. But I just remember this one lady saying that she has clients booked up and people are flying in, like she's in, I don't know, Atlanta or Savannah or somewhere in the South, you know, And she has people that fly in from like New York or places like that to get their hair weaved, to get hair extensions and stuff put in their hair. And she's booked up for like months, and she's charging $1,500 a person for like custom stuff. And this was like 10 years ago, maybe even more. So could you imagine what she would be charging now? I mean, that could be some money, right? You could be making some money on this stuff. And it is a little bit more time consuming. So practice and speed is very important, because you don't want your clients sitting there for 12 hours. Their butt would be super sore, and your feet would be really sore, and your hands probably too, if you were just working on one person for 12 hours. So, speed and what you do is practice. That's what it is. It's just practice. Practice makes perfect. Are you free to go? You're moving. Okay.